welcome back to another video. It's a beautiful morning today. Pivots are going, we're watering everything that we lamb planed, and we had some crazy winds on Sunday. Some places got upwards of 70-mile-an-hour gusts, just like last year, and here I thought we were fine with not having a big windstorm this year. I thought we weren't gonna get one, but looks like we got one anyway. But we're here, we're gonna start listing up some beds. There's a field back there that just finished watering. Well, I mean, it's still in the process of watering, but I can do one half of it already. It's wet enough, so I'm gonna go list up some beds. That's gonna keep it from blowing, and hopefully it won't blow again. It should hold it off long enough to, like, after planting. We might have to do some sand fighting later after we plant everything, but it's definitely gonna help right now. It's been a crazy past 2 days with some winds, but that's what we're up to right now. Got the 280 hooked up in front of the lister bar. Every year we put on whole new points just to where it does a better job. They do wear off quite a bit. They get a little bit narrower and the point is not near as pointy after a year. So every year we put new points in there. So we've already gone ahead and done that. And yesterday, I was already doing a little bit yesterday. I came over, or I noticed it yesterday behind here on this top center link arm. As you can tell, we got something missing right there. So I'm gonna let down this toolbar and I will see if I'm pretty sure I have a cotter pin, and now I'm gonna stick that guy in there, and that's gonna keep it from falling out. Gonna be in one of these two boxes. There's a few large ones, and then in this box there's a couple more. So it looks like what I'm gonna need is gonna be one of those. So let me also get, where's my pliers? There they are. Let me just bring this whole box over there, and then I'll be able to see exactly which one fits in there, or which one's long enough, that is. And this should be loose enough to where it should slide back in, but let me lower it a little bit right there. That is in the middle. There we go. Let's see, maybe that one. Oh, nearly fell down. That one was too big. That one. Yeah, that one's gonna work. That's a little bit tight, but rather too big than too small, so it doesn't break off again. I'm gonna have to take it out and rotate it so I can actually. Oh no, there's another hole. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Yeah, there we go. That's gonna hold. Perfect. Save it for later. So this is definitely going to be a very busy week for me, and that's just because my dad and my brother, they are both gone for 2 weeks. They're going on a missions trip, so I'm here managing all these fields by myself, running, making sure all the pivots are going, listing up beds, all that good stuff. So I'm a very busy guy right now. I do have a younger brother that he is going to help me out on occasion. There are a few wells that I have to fix. He's going to help me fix those, and he also is going to bring me back and forth once I need a ride because if I bring the tractor somewhere, my truck's like 5, 8, 10 miles away, give or take. And so there's that. He's gonna help me out with that. This field right here, I want to show you all this. You can tell, you can kind of tell on camera how much it blew. So like all the sand here is now just further that way. So that's why this pivot did finish watering. If we wouldn't have gotten the crazy winds, I would have been able to lift this field up. But as you can tell right here, you scratch a little bit and there's wet soil underneath. So like you got a little bit of sand on top, but then wet, right? So that part is fine. I could list up that. But then as soon as you get over here to where all the sand blew over onto this pile over here, you got a lot more dry sand. So now you have all of this dry sand. You scratch, then there's wet soil. So if I were to list up this right now, it would not make very good beds. There would be wet soil underneath, but there'd be all the dry soil mixed up with the listed beds, and it would blow. As soon as one crazy wind comes, it would blow again. So that's why I have to re-wet all that dry soil that blew all over the place before I can list it up. So that field where I'm going to, whenever the crazy wind happened, the wind came out of the west, and as that wind was coming, it was watering the west side. So that's why I'm able to now do that side, because that side wasn't blowing during the crazy wind. So certain fields now I can list up, and certain fields have to water again. A little unfortunate. I had timed it to where I'd be able to be very efficient by myself here. I had timed it in a way to where I could do a certain field, move here, and not need to ride back and forth so much. But now at the wind, it kind of ruined some of my plans, but it is what it is. I'll have my brother around here sometimes. Whenever he's not in school, he'll come and pick me up somewhere and drop me off somewhere else. So I'll still have my help. But let's get to the field and start listing up some beds. Definitely want to list up as far out of the circle as what the pivot watered, just that way keep as much sand from blowing as possible. Sure does look pretty. Going about 3.8. It's set to 4.2, but you know there's always some slip, so we're going about 3.8. We definitely don't want to go too fast, any faster, and then these beds start getting very pointy at the top, and we like them to stay a little bit flatter on the top. Just it helps with planting later on. And as you can tell, we are quite wide. We are 16 rows wide at 36-inch row spacing. We like to do 16 rows at a time just because our planters are 16 rows, and then when we come with the planter later, we just drive exactly where this guy drove. So every time I start a new field, I always have to watch out where I'm driving, because I want to make sure that my one row can go, like, let's say right past the well or past the pivot, or I'm matching up with a certain area in the field. So it works a little better that way, especially for digging also. 16 row plants it, 8 row digger comes right behind, drives, takes up those exact 16 rows, and then it matches good. The beds are a little more uniform. It overall just works better when we do 16 planter or 16 lister bar and also a row digger. It works very, very well. We've done it now for the past couple of years like this. That one year we did do a 12 row lister, and the GPS is just not quite accurate. Like, it's just a hair off, and so then you always have 4 rows that were not quite working as well. And then with digging, you could always tell that there was always those few rows on the digger. The rows were always off to the one side. They were never flipping over as beautifully. They never did as good. So we switched to 16 row, and it's been a game changer. It works a million times better. Plus, as you can tell, I'm leaving one pass out right there, and that is because that last buster on there, all the way at the end, we got 17 busters on here, and the last one at the end will overlap. It'll take that same row that it just made. So if I just go right next to the one that I always go, that one buster is not going to be, one buster is going to be making its new trench, and the previous buster is going to be in the same trench it just barely made. So then the lister bar always, it follows a little bit slanted behind. It never is perfectly straight. So if I can help it, I'll always skip one pass. That next pass will then both busters at the end, that one at that end and also that one at that end, will both be in a trench that they previously made, and the lister bar itself just follows that much straighter behind me. And we also got the cables here on the side. That also helps with keeping it nice and straight. All these little things add up, and it helps to make super nice, straight, long rows. And I've mentioned it before in a plowing video, but when we do any sort of stuff like this, if we can keep clods here like that, bigger ones too, something like that, that's gonna really help with blowing later. This is gonna keep our soil on our field and not on the neighbors. And as you can tell right here, that last buster is gonna be in the previous trench it made, and vice versa on this side over here. It is also going to be right in that trench. And we're at the next field. This one's going to be circle track. So it's going to be a little bit different. But here we go. Beautiful. And you can tell this field definitely blew yesterday too, but not anymore. It's almost as if someone was spinning around with a four-wheeler testing to see if the ground was too dry or too wet. I wonder who that could have been. Doing the last pass before I'll move back to that first field. I might not finish this today, but I guess we'll see how far we'll get. Since the pivot did just get off of this half, it does get a little bit wetter there towards the longer rows, so I might have to skip an area and wait till tomorrow morning, let that dry out a little bit, and we'll finish it tomorrow morning. And then I have one more circle to do tomorrow, and then it'll be a break with the listing for a little bit. Some of the other pivots need to get around first, gotta wait for those, and then we might start swathing hay here soon. The one field that's ready, I might turn that one on, maybe not tomorrow, but the day after. We'll maybe water one more time real quick, half an inch or something. Just that way the ground is at least wet, makes it smoother for swathing, and also all the dust and the fine sand doesn't get into the header and start clogging things up. Had that happen one year, so I'll just water like half an inch maybe over it. Maybe Monday we'll start swathing. But as for this video, as always, I do appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see y'all guys in the next one.